Ally Online Radio TV, good day and welcome to our news update. Here we bring you combination of major stories from across the world and important developments from Western Nigeria. Stay tuned as we keep you updated. Here are the news. Canada in push for joint G7 and Middle East effort to de-escalate Iran war. In details, Canada is pushing for a collective G7 and Middle East approach to de-escalate the Iran war, including off-ramps that could bring an end to the conflict, the Canadian Foreign Minister Anita Anand has said. In London to meet the UK Foreign Secretary Yeti Copper after talks with the hard Turkish interpart Hakas Fida Anda told The Guardian she hopes a G7 meeting chaired by France by this year's president of the group might start to build a broader collective approach to the crisis. Europe and Canada have been largely left by bystanders in the US-Israeli bombing campaign, which Iran has retaliated against with missile and drones attacks on its Gulf neighbor and threats to shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. They are only now starting to coordinate their position. Anna said she has drafted a document of principle to share with others to reduce the risk of regional spillover, to minimize the collateral impact on non-belligerent states and civilian populations, and finally to mitigate local economic shock. It's a document I am working with a number of countries on. I am speaking with every G7 countries and every partner impacted by the war in the Middle East to stress the principle of de-escalation, she said. It's important for us to have a conversation about the off-ramps. I want to engage the country being directly impacted by the retaliatory strike in particularly. So this is a collective and coordinated discussion about off-ramps. Diplomats recognize the extreme difficulty of ending the war because Iran is seeking some kind of guarantee that will not be attacked again. But that is not likely to be forthcoming in a format Tehran would accept. Level of the trust between the US and Iran are an all-time low, and Donald Trump may now have set the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz as one of his war objectives. US and Israeli strategy to kill Iran top figures may prove counterproductive. In details, Israel's decision to authorize its military to kill any senior Iran officials on its assassination list has raised significant news questions about its so-called decapitation strategy and what it is indeed to achieve. Privately, Israeli officials have briefed their US counterparts that in the event of uprising, Iran opposition would be slaughtered. That appears to be at odds with Benjamin Netanyahu's strategy to pursue regime change by targeting senior figures in Iran political and security apparatus. Even before the outbreak of full-scale war, however, Iran experts and analysts and some former Israeli officials were skeptical that Iran cleric regime would be toppled by such strike. So far, the target attack has killed the supreme leader Ali Khamenei, the security chief Ali Larijani, and the intelligence minister Ismail Khatib, among others. At the heart of the issue is the structure and resilience of Iran regime, and how both the regime and the Iranian public respond to stock attack. Death of influential Ali Larijani would be bigger loss to Iran than Khamenei. Before US and Israel launched their attack 3 weeks ago, experts had assessed that the regime was stagnating in the face of protests and that some kind of change appeared inevitable. FBI probing US counter-terrorism chief who resigned over Iran, report says. In details, the resignation of Joe Kent, a senior counter-terrorism officer who spoke against the US war in Iran, took a dramatic turn on Wednesday with a report that he is under investigation by the Federal Bureau of Investigation (FBI) over an alleged link of classified information. The inquiry predates Kent's departure on Tuesday from his post and directed the National Counter-Terrorism Center, where he has overseen the analysis of terrorism threats. According to Semaphore and CBS News, the FBI declined to comment on the existence of any such investigation. The report came as Kent, the first senior member of the administration to quit over the war, gave his first media interview since stepping down. Speaking to the right-wing commentator Tucker Carlson, he claimed that dissenting voices were effectively frozen out of the decision-making process that leads to US airstrike on Iran on 28 February. A good deal of key decision makers were not allowed to come and express their opinion to the president. Kent said on the Tucker Carlson Show podcast there wasn't a robust debate. Wearing a blue shirt open at the collar, Kent, a staunch Trump ally and conspiracy theorist, appeared at pains not to criticize the presidential directly, but he painted a picture of a White House in which Trump relied on a tight inner circle of advisors, sliding officials who questioned both the intelligence and the strategic wisdom underpinning the strike. Russia oil tanker heading to Cuba amid US economic blockade. It details hundreds of thousands of barrels of Russian oil are heading to Cuba, according to maritime tracking data, as the communist Islam suffer blackouts under a US economic blockade and Donald Trump threatening to take it over. The sanctioned Russia tanker Anatoly Kolodin loaded 730,000 barrels of crude oil in Russia port of Primus on 8 March and on Wednesday at 1,600 aircraft site 800 kilometers from border. In details, Ukraine military struck two Russian plants producing and repairing military transport and cargo planes in the Ulyanovsk and Novgorod region, the Ukraine General Staff said on Wednesday. It said in a statement that the attack on the Avesta plant, part of Russia United Aircraft Corporation in the city of Ulyanovsk, was carried out on 16 March. The plant produced Ilyushin 76 MD 90A military transport plane, Ilyushin 78M 90A refueling plane, and provides maintenance for Ruslan cargo planes, and is located about 800 kilometers, about 500 miles from the Ukrainian border. Ukraine military said the hangars and parking area were hit and some of other plants were damaged. The attack on the 1023rd aircraft maintenance plant in the city of Steraya, Russia, in the Novgorod region took place one day later, the General Staff said. The facilities provided a full cycle of repair and modernization for heavy transportation planes, including Ilyushin 76, Ilyushin 78, and L-410. Striking such targets directly reduced the enemy's ability to restore and sustain combat-ready aircraft, Ukraine drone force said on X. According to the PAM section, both vehicles were reportedly speeding when they collided on the expressway. The impact caused one vehicle to swing into opposite lane, resulting in damage to both cars. He stated the Honda Accord has a single occupant while the Suzuki Atso carried three occupants, a teacher and a two students of Lagos State Modern Junior College, Igbona, Epe. Lasema is pleased to report that no fatality occurred and all occupants escaped without serious injury. Two students, Animashan Ridwan (JSS2) and Ogunbomowa Michael (JSS2), reported head and eyes discomfort. They were immediately attended to by our paramedics, stabilized and administered first aid before being safely handed over to their parents. The teacher involved was identified as Mr. Joseph, a basic technology teacher at the school. Okeosanyitolu added that the victims were evacuated to safety and the badly damaged Suzuki Alto was recovered using Lasema light tow truck to prevent a secondary accident. Both vehicles were subsequently handed over to the Nigerian Police Force for further investigation. Highway danger, Oyo students beg FERMA for speed breakers. In detail, students of Baptist Secondary Grammar School, Aguare in Oyo State, have appealed to the federal government to urgently install speed breaker and other traffic calming measures on the busy Aguare-Shaki Road, citing growing safety concerns over speeding vehicles and heavy-duty truck plying the roads. The approach, which has gained traction on the social media, was conveyed in a video seen by our correspondent on Wednesday, where a group of students raised alarm over what they described as a critical safety threat at the entrance of their school. The video, posted on X, formerly Twitter, by the handle Oyomesioro, features 4 students, 3 boys and a girl, speaking on behalf of the school management staff and student body. In the footage, one of the students, identified as Ayatoye Emmanuel, expressed to the federal government on ongoing rehabilitation works on the road, but stressed that urgent safety interventions were needed to prevent accidents. Good day everyone, on behalf of the management staff and students of Baptist Secondary Grammar School, Aguare, we are extended our heartfelt gratitude to President Bola Tinubu and the Federal Road Maintenance Agency, led by Emeke Agbasi, for the ongoing road maintenance along the Aguare to Shaki Road, Emmanuel said. He also acknowledged the Oyo State government's roles in infrastructure development, adding, "We also acknowledge the proactive leadership of the Governor Seyi Makinde for his commitment to infrastructure in Oyo State." However, the student noted that despite the improvement, the location of the school directly along the highway has exposed both students and staff to significant danger. However, we face a critical challenge. Our school gate is directly located on this busy highway. Every day, our staff and students must cross the road, which is currently subjected to high-speed traffic, he said. Court convict finds 6 Lagos motorists for traffic offences. In details, the Lagos State Minister of Justice have secured the conviction of 6 motorists for various traffic violations following an enforcement operation in the Haruna area of Ikorodu. The minister disclosed this in a statement shared on its Facebook page on Wednesday, noting that the offenders were arraigned before a special offences court presided over by Magistrate K.A. Ario. According to the statement, the motorists were prosecuted for offences including driving against traffic one way and making illegal U-turns. One of the defendants, Onasoya Daniel, pleaded not guilty to charge of driving against traffic and making an illegal U-turn. His case was adjourned to April 21, 2026 for trial. Omowumi Babatunde, who faced similar charge, was found guilty and fined 200,000 naira with an additional 20,000 naira fine or 1 month of community service. Similarly, Olayemi Oluwabamigbe was charged with driving against traffic and making an illegal U-turn. He pleaded not guilty to one count and guilty to the other, with the matter adjourned to May 5, 2026 for trial. The court also convicted Olufemi Opadeji and Alabi Akioluwa on both counts, sentencing them to a fine of 200,000 naira each for driving against traffic and 20,000 naira each for 1 month community service for making illegal U-turn. And that brings us to the end of our news updates. I am Oluwatoyin Lebute. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe for more at Alayo Online Radio TV. Thank you for watching.